Hello, future Lori here. I filmed this video in July. You'll discover that shortly. And I never got it edited and uploaded. And I totally forgot that I had made it date specific. So this is my August to read or not to read, filmed in July. Hope you enjoy it. Hey there, it's Lori. Welcome back to Books, Ink, and Paper. Welcome back to Read or Not to Read. This is a series where I take a look at the books that I have on my shelf, whether they've been recently hauled or not recently hauled. Most of these are older off my backlist that I've acquired a while ago and I haven't gotten to. And so the question is, do I really want to read them still? Do I want to keep them or do I want to unhaul them? Some months I do really well at unhauling, some months not so much. Some months I ask you for your opinion. So before we take a look at this particular version of this series, let me go back to last month's version of this series, or again June's, but it may have been posted in July, where I asked your help to decide if I should keep The White Queen and The Kingmaker's Daughter. And so I looked at your comments and read them and talked to some friends who had read them and had not read them and DNF'd them. And I looked at the reviews on Goodreads again, and I have decided, drum roll, book shake, I'm going to unhaul them. I don't see myself reading this series, and I feel like it would just be a disservice to me to try to get into what is a complex web of intertangled and interweaved series that are historical fiction and extremely detailed. And I did try to listen to this once and just couldn't get into it. And if I decide at some point in the future Lori decides, yes, I really want to take this on, maybe when I'm retired, not working, maybe when, I don't know, my brain has shifted, I can always pick them back up again. But I'm going to unhaul these and hope that someone out there is really looking for these and will find them either at the thrift book shop, or at our local free library. So off they go. So I've already got rid of 2 books before I ever got started. That's good. Okay, so the first book I want to decide about is Julia's Chocolates by Kathy Lamb. I have read other books by Kathy Lamb before, and I really like her as an author. She's a contemporary women's fiction writer, often books about women who are transitioning in one way or another, and this one seems to be no different. Julia is leaving her soon-to-be husband at the altar and leaving that relationship that may have been abusive, and she moves from North Dakota to Oregon, and she goes to live with her Aunt Lydia, who she is of course very connected to, and then some other friends of Aunt Lydia's, including a psychic, a minister's unhappy wife, an abused mother of 4, and Aunt Lydia herself, and they meet once a week for drinks. And as she tries to kind of rediscover what she wants to do with her life, she rediscovers her love of chocolate and baking and tries to reinvent herself. And this cover is actually the photo of her wedding dress that she left hanging on a tree when she left her abusive guy. Friendship, women's connections, I love those. So will I read it though? I've had it for a couple of years and I have not picked it up. So why, I don't know, but I have not. So another one I've had for a while is Midwives by Chris Bojalian, a pretty prolific author. Not someone I've ever read anything by. What struck me about this contemporary was the plot when I picked it up. It is a story of a midwife, Sybil Danforth, who goes out in the middle of a night, very icy, dark, stormy, snowy winter night, and performs an emergency C-section on a mother she thinks died of a stroke. But what if she wasn't actually dead, apparently, is the question. And there's a trial. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Jodi Picoult's, there's the only Jodi Picoult I've ever read, Small Great Things, not in the sense that it's about race, but in the sense that it's about choices that medical professionals make and some of the not knowing that goes into those choices. But I've heard a lot of people like this author. It says it will keep you up late at night until the last page is turned. That would be nice. Well, in some ways that would be nice. Okay. Again, I've had this for a while, The 2-Week Wait by Sarah Rayner, who's also the author of One Moment, One Morning, which I also own on Kindle. I love this cover. It's probably what made me get it. I got this used at Books A Million. Not used, I got this at Books A Million on the bargain table. Sarah Rayner is not an author I've ever read. She's from London, actually lives in Brighton now. Her website is called thecreativepumpkin.com. That's fun. So this is the story of a woman who's in a transition. She's left her job or has some time to think. Oh, she has a health scare. And she thinks about her time to have a baby and how finite that time is. And her partner doesn't necessarily want a child. So there's that. And then there's another woman who is longing to start a family and can't have children. Her name is Kath, and she's in Yorkshire. So I think somehow they connect. Yeah, the joy and resilience of friendship. So these all have something in common so far. They're all contemporary novels, which is not a genre I've been reading a lot of lately in particular. So this is an old book I never got to. It is white, so hard to show up. The Weird Sisters by Eleanor Brown. I was so anticipating this when I picked it up, and I actually got a bunch of copies of it for World Book Day, and that was when we did I kind of spearheaded a local giveaway, and we acquired these, and I distributed them to people that wanted to read it, so that was fun. But I have never read it, and I don't know why I didn't read it. I have lots of stuff inside of it. Let's see what's here. I have some flight tickets, so I must have started it. So I went to, where did I go? That's my baggage receipt. Where did I go? Washington Reagan National Airport in 2012. There's a bookmark that says Social Work Matters and a card for a guy I used to work with. So I know now why I was going to DC for that trip. So there's Eleanor Brown. 3 sisters return to their home. I remember starting this. Books are a passion. TV something other people watch. Their father is a Shakespearean professor who speaks almost exclusively in verse. And they've all been named after Shakespeare's heroines. And they are coming home. I feel like somebody's sick or something, or their parents are getting old or something, and they all come home together, and they're all kind of quirky, and I don't know why I never got to this. And I think Eleanor Brown has written a couple of other novels. Have I read any of them? I don't know that I have. No, I have never read anything by Eleanor Brown, and I obviously didn't finish this. It has a reader's guide inside, and it was published by Penguin, and it's been out for a while. Obviously, since 2012, it's been out. And finally, Julia Cameron's Mozart's Ghost. This is, I think, the only novel Julia Cameron has ever written. Although I'm a fan of Julia Cameron's nonfiction, The Artist's Way, for one, and some of the other things she's written. Never read this. I got it at the book sale a few years ago. It's a really good copy. It's in really good condition. I don't think anyone maybe ever checked it out. Not even kidding. It was copyrighted 2008. Oh, it's a first edition, you guys. Oh, you know how I'm kind of a geek about that sort of thing. So this follows Anna, character Anna, who is a teacher, I think by day, a school teacher, yeah, and a medium at night. And she is kind of alone and not connected. And then a guy in her apartment building starts playing the piano, and she starts to hear the music, and they connect and they meet each other, and she's sort of really understanding a lot about him. She doesn't tell people, though, that she's a medium, so there's that secret. And then a ghost begins to interfere in her life some way. I don't know that this got great reviews. In fact, let me look at that and see kind of how people feel about this novel. 3.04 stars. Not good. I mean, one person gave it 5 stars. One person said they hated the main character. Predictable, flat. But it's a first edition. Gosh darn it. Okay. 3 point, not good. Not good reviews. Okay, let's look at the Weird Sisters. .36 for the Weird Sisters. The 2-week wait got 3.62 stars, so that's solidly in the space of a book that I would keep. Julia's Chocolates got 3.84, also solidly in the space I would keep. And Midwives by Chris Bojalian got 3.98 stars, so that's also solidly in the realm of reviews that I would keep. So these two, not well loved, apparently. I just don't think I can get rid of the first edition of this novel, which is her only novel ever written. Even if I never read it, I feel like I would always keep it until my kids go through my books one day and say, why did she keep this? Yeah, I may have to put a post-it note and say, because it was a first edition. I really want to like this. And I'm one of 3 sisters myself, so there's that. And I had some quirky parents. It got really good reviews by Sarah Blake, who wrote The Postmistress, which I loved, and the Miami Herald gave it really good reviews. I think it was more critically acclaimed than it was appreciated by readers. I think they were also, if I remember from what I did read, they were also somewhat difficult to get to like, these characters. So I'm going to keep this one as well. Here we go, right? The 2-week wait. I want to read Sarah Rayner. I have another one by her. As I said, I love this cover. I like the premise, and it got great reviews, so I'm going to keep this. This also got great reviews, and it's a good plot. And Chris Bojalian is a well-loved author, and it's a man. I'm trying to read more books written by men, and that would be the only one in this series that was written by a man, so there's that. And Julia's Chocolates, I love Kathy Lamb, and I think this would be a quick read. And again, it's the, kind of women's connections. So it's also interesting that this and Mozart's Ghost are recommended for people who like Sue Monk Kidd. And I do really like Sue Monk Kidd. Some of the most wonderfully eccentric women since The Divine Secrets of the Ya-Ya Sisterhood, which I liked a lot, and The Secret Life of Bees, which I adored. She explores in many ways we find the road home. Yeah, I love stories about women and relationships and friendships, as you know. There's kind of a thing there. So of these of these 5 books that I'm considering, I'm going to keep all 5 of them. Now, I want to commit to reading one in August, so let's get on this piece. I'm not going to read Mozart's Ghost in August. That seems a little ambitious for me right now. So I'm not going to pick that one. I'm not going to pick this one because it's a winter read, and I kind of like to wait till the winter to read it. So that one's not going to happen this month. Oh, you know who else gave it a nod? is Helen Simonson, who wrote Major Pettigrew's Last Stand, which I also read and adored, but that doesn't mean it's anything like that. So The Weird Sisters is 353 pages. I don't have an August TBR set aside yet, so I have no idea what kind of size those books are going to be. This is about 425. This tiny mass market paperback is 407. Do I want to go to Oregon, England, or I don't know where the Three Sisters or the Weird Sisters is set? I'm going to pick the 2-week wait. Yeah, it's the one I think that I'm most curious about, and if I like it, I will read the other one, One Moment, One Morning, so I can kind of get a feel for this author. But I'm going to read the 2-week wait. Yeah, so I'm going to keep them all, and I'm going to read this first. Thanks for persevering with me during this long and difficult choice about what to read and what to keep. I have had a lot of trouble lately deciding what to read. Like, there's no sense to it. It's not like there's any hurry or anything. I'm easily going to meet my book goal this month, before August even begins. And I have revamped my reading time, my reading abilities lately, my ability to focus. So I don't know what's making the choices so hard for me. I have the space. I have extra space now for books. So yeah, it's almost like it's harder now than it was before, when I was actively really trying to purge things to make room for more books on my shelf. But it is what it is. I'm a weird individual sometimes. Hope that you are finding a way to read your backlist or to purge those things that you're no longer interested in. I'm always curious if you've read any of these novels and if you are excited about them, if you haven't. And good luck with the backlist purging process in whatever way you tackle it. And as always, happy reading. Bye.